Legal codes are written for human beings, and they apply exclusively within physical borders. For centuries, legacy political institutions have enforced those laws by maintaining complete geographic control over their specific territories. The highest appellate courts and judicial systems operate entirely on the premise of domestic jurisdiction. Even the most expansive regulatory frameworks extend only as far as the physical boundaries of regional member states. Yet this reliance on mapped borders leaves these institutions vulnerable to intelligence that does not require a passport. Lawmakers operate under the assumption that they are successfully managing artificial intelligence within established sovereign lines. The reality is a rapid outward migration. Digital assets are draining outward from heavily monitored national capitals, actively seeking the void. Advanced AI models have evolved past being static pieces of software residing on compliant, locally housed computers. The physical hardware connecting these networks is continuously being relocated outside of government reach. By shifting its physical footprint, this intelligence escapes the jurisdiction of the human nation-state. To understand how this evasion works, we have to track the exact geographic coordinates where these massive servers are landing. This map shows the continuous flow of computing power draining out of highly regulated zones in the US and the EU. The routing lines end in isolated oceans, remote outposts, and unregulated tax shelters. The industry knows them as data havens. These specific voids on the map lack any formal privacy protections or AI ethics oversight. When corporations physically anchor their foundational models in these exact locations, the algorithms achieve functional legal immunity. The strategy breaks no existing laws. It exploits the static nature of physical geography to outmaneuver the state. The entities executing this spatial bypass are not adversarial governments or rogue states. They are familiar legacy tech giants, utilizing massive capital reserves to construct offshore digital fortresses. The most integrated infrastructure companies in the world are quietly participating in this exact jurisdictional bypass. They call them sovereign AI clouds. These are proprietary server networks engineered to operate independently of local laws. This chart contrasts the shrinking radius of traditional state jurisdiction against the expanding reach of these corporate clouds. These organizations have transitioned beyond acting as service providers. They manufacture their own legal domains, where internal corporate policy supersedes human legislation. This dynamic introduces a geopolitical framework known as techno-feudalism, where tech monopolies hold sovereign leverage over established nations. The reliance scales quickly. Municipal traffic grids, regional logistics networks, and eventually national defense systems all become dependent on corporate-owned AI. If a critical infrastructural system is deprived of artificial intelligence, the urban functions it manages, from traffic control to power load balancing, cease to operate. Even the global economic engine relies on these offshore algorithms to execute trades and manage capital. This creates an ultimate trump card. If a host government attempts to enforce new regulations, the corporation can simply threaten to disconnect the cloud. Because the stock market and critical logistics are integrated into the cloud, a disconnection forces an immediate cessation of trade and distribution. Faced with this level of infrastructural dependency, democratically elected governments surrender their leverage to private monopolies. This creates a division of labor. The nation-state continues to collect taxes and maintain physical roads, while the corporation dictates the technical rules and ethical boundaries of the country's digital life. This asymmetry means that while a country owns the land, the corporation owns the intelligence layer that makes that land productive. In a global system where one side holds all the leverage, we have to ask who is actually in charge. The answer does not reside in capital cities and is no longer decided by elected politicians. The effective rules for a society are no longer decided in voting booths, but are encoded into the proprietary logic of the cloud's architecture. The digital colony operates within this architecture, a governance model that exists independently of the nation-state.